G'day everyone, Virtual Conquer 85 here, also known as Stazza 85 from the Minecraft forum site, or my real name is Brad. Today's video is about the history of Continuum. The first official release of Continuum was back in August 2015. Next was the performance update 1.1. Then the 1.1.5 hotfix version was released to fix the broken specular of 1.1. The most current is the preview version for 1.8.9, adding shader option support. Before release, there was actually a lot of work being done. But does anyone really know how far back the development of Continuum goes? A lot of people think that Continuum was based off 10.2 Preview 1, which was released in January 2015. I can tell you that it didn't start then, and it's definitely not based on 10.2 Preview. Others believe Continuum is based on Zeus 10.1, which was released sometime in 2014. This is also not true. Continuum is actually based off an old development shader from when donators had access to Sonic Ether's SugarSync development archive, and it's called O1. This O1 shader was released on SugarSync before the public release of 10.1 Preview 1. So it's actually quite old now. And we have just been updating the shader with new features and adding in our own features and bug fixes since. Before Continuum, it was actually nicknamed Zeus Complete during most of the development. Development of Zeus Complete started with just one person, me. It was my own personal project, the aim of which was to make the most complete Zeus shader for Minecraft. Back then I had no intention of public release, or that I would ever get to where it is today. Personally, I got into Minecraft at the end of 2010 after seeing a review about an alpha Minecraft version on an Australian TV show called Good Game. I was blown away and purchased it that night. After a few months I started looking at mods and saw Dax Nitro's shaders. They were really impressive, but at the time I had a below average PC, so I decided to try a simple water shader instead, and I could hardly maintain a 30 FPS, so the entire shader was out of the question. I didn't look into shaders again until the middle of 2012. I had just built a new PC with a GTX 570 and was making a server with a mate of mine, so I thought we would need a really cool trailer for it. When I searched for the shader to use in my trailer, I found that Dax Nitro was no longer making the shaders, and that two others had taken over. Karyonyx was now updating the shaders mod itself, and another by the name of Sonic Ether was actually making the shaders. I played with the shaders for some time, and at the end of February 2013 I uploaded a teaser trailer for our server, using Sonic Ether's latest shader called RC6. Even with my new PC, I was still getting low FPS of around 30-ish FPS. And after some reading, I found out I could actually donate to Sonic Ether to get access to his development shaders that he claimed were getting double the FPS of RC6. So in April 2013 I sent a donation to him and got access to his development shaders. The latest of which was K25, and indeed it was getting about double the FPS. But there was a lot missing that was in RC6. Things like POM, specular, waving water, and lots of waving elements were not turned on, and no lens flare. At this point I started looking at the code to see if I could get these features back in. By July 2013 I succeeded in doing so. The FPS took a bit of a hit, but was still about 10 to 15 FPS more than RC6, and I posted another video on my YouTube channel showing the changes. Now I was hooked. I was watching the development SugarSync files like a hawk, and checking each new development shader. After the K series, Sonic Ether started on his L series, where he introduced Bloom. It was nice, but the shader as a whole was broken, so I stayed with my modded K25. Next came his M series, where he had rewritten the entire shader and brought new and better shadows, better lighting, bloom, and the FPS was vastly improved. The M series later became the public release that was known as Zeus 10.0. So I stayed with K25 on the Minecraft version 1.5.2. Without POM, specular, god rays or lens flare, this shader failed to have the wow factor that I really liked from my previous one. So I decided to stay with K25 back on Minecraft 1.5.2 instead of moving to the 1.6.2 with Zeus 10.0. Even though the shadows, lighting and bloom was amazing along with the performance. In August 2013, someone posted a pic showing volumetric clouds. Up until then, I was using texture packs to add clouds in, as it was something I really wanted. Once I saw these new volumetric clouds, I got the development shader loaded up and was greeted with this, a bluey reddish pink coloured screen. I then found out that I had to downgrade my drivers to get it working. Once I downgraded them and it was working, I never looked back to K25. I'd found my new wow factor. Okay, yes, there was no POM or specular or even my beloved god rays, but having these beautiful volumetric clouds along with the better lighting and shadows and FPS, I was able to finally move on. Continuum actually started with this shader, as I started modding this new version that was called BC5 or Volumetric Clouds 5, which was really just 10.0 with the volumetric clouds, with things like enabling depths of field, adding in waving water, and making changes to the sun bloom, things that are still in Continuum to this day. I tried getting Sonic Ether's attention to add god rays back in, such as this post or this one. Now it was around this time I had no idea who Joey was and had no idea that he was working with others to fix the bugs in Zeus, and was also after access to the development files. Unfortunately by then SugarSync was going to be a paid service, and so Sonic Ether stopped handing out development. Sonic Ether's next development shader was his N series, which brought back specular. Now the two N shaders, 1 and 2, were still kinda broken, and so I decided just to take the specular from them and put them in my modified BC5 shader. But that was about to change once he started on his O series, and I fell in love with his O1 shader. Something about it just made me go, wow. And I think it was more the vibrant colours of the tone mapping. So I decided to keep O1 and move all the fixes that I made in BC5 to the new O1 shader, and thus Continuum was born around the end of 2013. He then released the development O2 shader, in which he really sort of did a 180 turn to that of O1, and I really didn't like how this new one was looking, and O2 actually turned out to be the public release, which was known as 10.1 Preview 1. January 2014, I posted a fix for the volumetric clouds in O1, as they were still broken by default in Zeus 10.1 Preview 1. It was also around this time I released my next YouTube video showing the comparisons between my modified O1 to default O1 to the new 10.1 preview. Around this time, Joey was partnered with someone named Potato, who were working on bug fixes for 10.1 Preview 1. Now as I look back, I realised they were also trying to fix the clouds in 10.1 Preview 1, and had their own post on Sonic Ether's forums outlining all their new fixes. Later on in January, I posted a video on how to enable POM in Zeus 10.1 Preview 1, which would end up being one of my most viewed YouTube videos to date. During February 2014, I posted two videos. One was a tutorial on how to apply the changes I'd made to O1 shader. The other showed how to get the rain particles to show again in Zeus. During March 2014, I made a new Minecraft forum post about doing shader benchmarks. It never caught on, but I will leave a link in the description if you want to check it out. I also posted another video in March that was a showcase for the modified O1 shader, aka Continuum. Sometime around the beginning of March 2014, Joey contacted me saying he had liked my post and what I'd been doing with the shader. He wanted to talk about his fixes that he had that could be implemented. So as our partnership began, the modified shader really started to take off. Joey's first input to the shader was implementing the 10.1 light map / shadow map. During March, I also tweaked volumetric clouds further to be used in the latest Zeus shader 10.1 Preview 2, which 10.2 also gave us a new and better specular effect. Nothing much happened in April, just a video showing the very minimum FPS loss of the new volumetric clouds I was working on. In May, I continued my quest for perfect volumetric clouds and made another tutorial showing how to get them yourself. May 2014, Joey and I were discussing how to implement God rays back into Zeus, as at that point we still hadn't worked it out. This would end up taking a long time to happen. In May, I posted a fix for the wheat not moving or waving in the latest Minecraft version 1.7.2. I managed to get the dynamic torchlight from 10.1 into what we refer to as the modified 01 shader. Around June, others were also attempting to perfect the volumetric clouds, but none that I know of succeeded.